Wow. How, I mean, do you write your own material? Like, what was that? I mean,
Yes.
how hard is, I mean, I've spoken to other people. Like, I had Tiffany Moon from Dallas Housewives on here twice.
We're BFFs.
See, and she did her comedy. She had her comedy moment. Like, we love Tiffany. I mean, it's not easy, right?
Not easy. I wrote it on a 13-hour plane ride to Italy and then kept rehearsing. And you don't know if you're going to be funny on your own because it's one thing to be a funny conversationalist and who actually says they're funny, right? Like, I'm not saying I'm funny. I'm just telling you I've spoken to people and they've laughed, but that doesn't mean anything, you know? And so it was scary. But then I did get up there, performed, people laughed. And I did watch, obviously, a lot of other comedians, on Netflix. And I just spent hours watching. And it's basically storytelling. And Joe Rogan said, and this helps us, once you have a podcast, and I've been podcasting and doing a lot of solo pods like you for like 2 years now, the rest comes easy. If you know how to tell
Interesting.
a story, it's more now like hitting the punchlines. So it's not so much talking in public that scares me. It's getting the jokes in and, landing those laughs. And that's what it became about. It wasn't so much about telling a story. I already knew these are the stories that people laughed at when I talked about them on my podcast. And now taking that to the next level and adding that one liner, like that family karma one liner.
Interesting. I mean, people tell me on this podcast I'm funny all the time, and I can tell you, I mean, I'm not so sure I could ever do stand-up comedy. It
Well, you have to
just,
tell a story.
oh man.
But I also have not had a coach. Like, I am not, one of those people. I'm not aspiring to be a comedian. I'm more like Sonia in the city.
Well, listen, a mini comedy tour in February. I mean, I'm
Yes.
like all for that. I mean, Caroline's is a major gig to start
I mean, to
your
have
New
your
York
first show at
City.
Caroline's and it be 30 minutes, that was wild.
What like female comedians or comedians do you like? Do you just like? Like, did you watch or say like
I
these
love
are
everyone. I grew up obviously with Heather McDonald and Chelsea Handler. I've been on her podcast, which was surreal, my first season. I know, she has mixed reviews, but for me, growing up with Heather McDonald, Chelsea Handler, Kathy Griffin, I'm naming like people who are canceled, but like Joan Rivers, like all these people like that are canceled now, kind of, but they're funny. What are you gonna say? And now I feel like everyone's canceled. And Sarah Silverman, you know, Monique,
love them all.
like so many people, like just, yeah.
Joan was literally
I
the
was
best.
devastated. When Joan died, I was devastated.
I was away in on vacation in Dominican Republic, and I literally like I mean my friend was like, "You're not." I was like, "I'm going home." Like I want to be one of those people across from the apartment, like when Melissa comes out. I mean, I've had Melissa Rivers on this
Yes,
podcast, so I was like, I just have to be there. Then I was like, okay, I don't need to leave this vacation just for that. But I thought of it. I literally was going to get on a plane and come home. That's how devastated I was.
I believe you because I was there too. And, I was actually watching a lot of her stuff too for me. And I mean, half the stuff you're like, oh, I can see like why now you can't say that. But I still laughed.
It's like you can't say some of it, but and then like I've had this discussion so many times with like a Melissa. Like I somehow think if Joan was around, she'd be the only person that would probably get away with half with all of it. I think
Absolutely. And, she was also like what I think she was that Bravolebrity, even though she wasn't, like she was aspirational because not only was she funny, but she was fabulous. She was bougie. She lived in like an all gold, like penthouse in Manhattan. I mean, she had all the makings.
and knew just like everything. Her knowledge of pop culture was like that of like a 22-year-old TikTok influencer.
Yes,
It was
absolutely. And a lot of her comedy is, she's like Jewish and it's very like Indian mom, Indian auntie, like Mary Rich and all those things. And so maybe we also, like me, I come from Indian culture, which is also a little harsh, and
High
There's no
standards.
sweet talking. And so maybe that's why I relate to it.
What, before we wrap up, what was Brandi Glanville like? I mean, I've spoken to her before. What was she like at BravoCon, and how did you guys
A
bond?
gem. A gem and keeping it real. And we were actually talking, like a group of us, and we're like, who are some of the Bravo celebrities that get a lot of hate, but actually are just probably woke and keeping it real? And I think Brandi Glanville came up because I think she's just all saying what we're all actually thinking that no one's actually saying out loud. But she's on point. She's not wrong.
I agree. I mean, she gets a bad rap, and she's totally authentic when you actually speak to her, and she's not trying to be shocking, or she just is giving you her opinion, and it's real.
And I want to say, like a lot of these Bravo lebs, what you don't see is they are all such amazing moms. Brandi Glanville is an amazing mom, and so are a lot of these Bravo celebrities. Like you just, some of their kids are on the show, and you see that, but I don't think people realize how hard of a job that must be to manage all of that, and they're doing it. I saw it.
Yes. Do you want to have kids soon, or
Kids
kids
are
at
in the
all?
freezer. I don't think I would think about having kids till at least 2024 because I still want to enjoy life like as a newlywed and with my husband, and there's still so much I want to do. But thankfully I froze them.
You can keep the kids in the freezer for at least another year.
Yes.
Anything else that you want to cover? Podcast currently cringing. You were at Caroline's major gig. There's might be more comedy in the new year. Anything else I didn't bring up? Thank you for answering all of my questions. I'm loving this season of Family Karma.
Yeah, I think, watch our show, and definitely I think a lot happens this season. A lot.
Listen, we're only on like the first few episodes, and there's already a lot happening, and I'm like, this is going to be the season, I feel like, where it's all just
Yes.
gonna be up and down like every other episode in like the best way possible.
I mean, the way the second episode ended,
Yeah,
I'm waiting to watch the third one. I'm like,
there
because I haven't
is
watched it. We don't watch it, like we don't watch it either. So we know when but I know what happened. So I'm like waiting to see that on television.
there is drama. I think it's the best season yet. So
Super exciting.
I will share your socials with everyone. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
I split my time between New York and Miami and LA, but wherever you are on this mini tour, if I'm close
Yes.
by, I am all about coming, because I was going to come to Caroline's. I just was out of town at the time. I was like,
Absolutely.